Stephanie Stuckey Benfield has a long history of public service in her background. This year, she's seeking a fifth term in the Georgia General Assembly to finish some of the work she's started as the representative for State House District 85.
The pre-K bill in particular, the bill did not pass, but there's a study committee that's been formed to look at funding for child care, not just pre-K, but child care and early childhood development. There was a committee formed that deals with sexual exploitation of women, which is a real problem in the Atlanta area and in DeKalb County. I want to be part of that effort. I worked on a bill for eyewitness identification to help people who have been wrongfully convicted and hopefully prevent wrongful convictions.
Benfield was 34 years old and single when she was first elected to the Georgia legislature. Today, she is married with 2 young children, juggling a career, motherhood, and a demanding job in public service.
I'm either in an election year or the year before an election year. And whether you're opposed or not, I joke that you're either running opposed or you're running scared, but either way, you're always running. On the flip side, running constantly keeps you connected with the voters and connected with the people you represent.
Over the years, Stephanie Benfield has authored legislation to lower property taxes for DeKalb County's senior citizens, mandate equal treatment for girls' athletic programs in public schools, increase patients' access to their medical records, crack down on domestic violence, and reform Georgia's child custody laws. She admits the 2008 legislative session was marked by contentious political infighting.
The party in leadership, the party in power, is the party that controls the agenda. That's the reality. And the Republicans, for the first time in almost 200 years in Georgia, they control the governor's office, the House, and the Senate. And I'm just amazed, frankly, that they did not get critical issues past this session. You know, the Democrats weren't perfect when they were in power. We had a good old boy entrenched system. I had a lot of problems with that, but that's not the Democratic leadership today.
At the national level, Benfield continues to support Barack Obama, and she was excited about the large Democratic turnout in Georgia's presidential primary this past February.
So that gives me hope that we could actually be a blue state this election cycle if everybody gets behind a candidate. So it's exciting because we're usually neglected during the presidential campaigns because we're taken for granted.
Benfield says she's more effective now as a legislator because she knows how to get things done for her constituents. And for those who wonder whether contacting your elected representative can really make a difference,
there's been numerous bills where I got one call from one constituent the day of the vote and it influenced my vote. And for me to get 10 calls on a bill, that's an overwhelming response because not that many folks contact their legislators. I am fortunate to be in an activist area, so I do hear more than I think the average legislator. But I do have a listserv that's almost 4,000 email addresses at this point. And I put out a weekly legislative update. And that weekly update always generates at least 50 email responses on the issues that I raise. I have an interactive survey on my website asking about bills that are pending or issues that are pending where people can vote on the website and it automatically tallies.
Earlier this year, an Atlanta Journal-Constitution article noted that Stephanie Benfield seemed to have a lot of unexcused absences.
I missed motions to adjourn. I missed privilege resolutions honoring special Georgians, which always pass unanimously. So I do think it's important to make a distinction that the critical votes, the key votes, I was there for. The other thing is the AJC did do a follow-up piece. Unfortunately, it was not on the front page of the paper. It was on the Metro section. But they did a follow-up, and they looked at how the legislators who originally made that top 10 fared by the end of the session. I went from being number 6 for missing votes to number, I believe it was 68 at the end, which means I was not even in the top third of legislators who missed votes. There's 180 members of the House. And that's more reflective of my voting record. I am there. I am voting. Unfortunately, the snapshot in time that article captured was when I had a couple of mornings out to care for my kids. But I think the main point I want to bring home to my constituents is that I am there when you need me. I'm there when you need me to vote. And frankly, if you come down to the Capitol to see me, I am going to come out and see you, and I may miss a vote or two. because I'm off the floor meeting with a constituent, and I think that's important. If I'm not missing a critical vote, if I'm missing a privilege resolution in order to speak one-on-one with a constituent, I think that's a priority.
Stephanie Benfield has become a recognized leader in her community, so we wanted to know how she measures success.
I think success is best measured by the people you work directly with, and it's not necessarily always measured by how many awards you get, but it's the people you work with one-on-one on a consistent basis. If they have a good opinion of you, that's the best indicator of whether or not you're successful in doing a good job.
Benfield has this advice for other women planning to run for public office. Get involved in your local community, and then give her a call.
Be involved with your League of Women Voters, your neighborhood association, if you have children, the PTA, and start building those roots and that network of supporters so that you can run. Women approach running for office very differently. We're used to usually other women asking us to serve. But when you run for public office, there's usually not people begging you and knocking down your door saying, please run, please run. And I just think women, we just have to start thinking, okay, we could take the initiative and we can put our name on the ballot. I get calls all the time from women who are thinking about running for office. And every single time I have gone out for coffee, I've met with them personally. So please call on me and let me be a resource because we do need more women in office.
10 years from now, Stephanie Benfield still sees herself in public service, perhaps in a statewide office, when her children are a bit older.
Politically, I'd like to see the state get a little more democratic before I try to move up maybe to statewide office. But I certainly think there's wonderful talent and a lot of people in this community who would serve well in the House and serve well in the state Senate. And so I think, at some point, I don't want to be here for 50 years and have people say, well, gosh, nobody else gets a chance to serve at the State House. So I don't want to be one of those people who stays around too long.
Over the summer, Benfield will continue talking with her constituents about the 2008 legislative session, her agenda for 2009, and key issues that will impact her district. This is Decatur eLife.